I did this when Minnow passed away because I didn't really feel like making another post, and I wanted something to post. Here's a video. Basically, Nicolas passed away yesterday morning. It was really kind of a sudden illness. He had been started doing really good. We finally got his blood pressure under control, the sensitivity with his teeth. He was doing really good. Gaining some weight back. End of July, he had a lot of vomiting, and I took him in to the vet because I had an appointment for Cassandra anyway, because she was like, she had bitten something or something had stung her and her mouth was bothering her a bit. So I figured, I'll take him in anyway just to be sure, but I did call the vets and they recommended giving him some Serenia, so I gave him a bit and then took him in later in the week. And Dr. Harry found a mass and some fluid. I figured he was just gassy, but she did an ultrasound and it wasn't good. She didn't think he would probably do an over the weekend because it was a long weekend. But they did have coverage on the weekend. She thought maybe bring him in that Tuesday because it was Friday. But I made him put Thursday because I had up until last week I wasn't on my mom's insurance, and so I didn't have a vehicle, and because my mom also had a fall prior to this, so I was relying on taxis. So I booked one for that Thursday, took him, and he was doing quite well. He was still quite active. He wanted to, do lawn camping, mail, play with his sisters. He had a really good appetite, stuff like that. So gave me another week of medication and just to call in and see how he's doing. But I noticed he was still doing good, but he was uncomfortable from the fluid, like getting laid down and stuff. So I made when I called, I made an appointment for that Monday, and when he was there, he was actually couldn't get over how good he was, considering the terminal diagnosis. So Dr. Harry elected to drain the fluid, which they would have drained more. They only got they got over a pound of fluid from him, but they would have done a little bit more, but he started acting really frisky. And he was actually really, it seemed to really help him. He played with his sister when he got back. He slept really good. He just was a lot more active, really good. And Thursday I noticed his poop was not very good, so I started giving him lactulose, because that was something Dr. Harry warned about, that the mass might affect his ability to poop. And so I'd had him on the Restore Lax all along, because I usually give them some anyway, and it didn't help. And he started acting. I took him to the park Friday, and he was really good. He came back, ate his supper and one of his sister's supper, because I fed them outside because it was so hot still. And then that evening about 11, he just was off. He didn't want food, he didn't want treats, he was unsteady. So I stayed up all night thinking I'll call the vets in the morning, because they were in till 3 on Saturdays. And he rallied that morning. He wanted to go for a walk, ate a bit. So then I went back and had a little bit of a sleep, because again I hadn't slept. And then I called the vets a little before 2 and moved his appointment from, his reassessment was that Friday the next week to Monday. And because I was like, I don't think this is good. And that night he was just not very good. Sunday he was doing a bit better, so I took him to the beach, because he had never been, because prior to his high blood pressure issues, he really didn't like car rides. He would pee himself if he got too upset and stuff. So he had never been. So I took him to Port Lauren. I wanted to take him to the water, but the tide was out, and it was just too far to walk with the rocks, the wet rocks and stuff, to get there for me or him. And but he did seem to enjoy it. He really perked up on the car ride. And then I was getting around supper time, about 7:30. I was like, because I've been feeding them later in the evening because of the heat, because they don't eat good with the humidity and whatnot. So I said, okay, I was getting ready close to feed him. He was having a drink from his fountain, you know, the cat water fountain, and he had a drink and he was heading back. He decided to commandeer, I'd gotten a big order from Walmart of cat food and stuff, and he loved the big box. He had been sleeping in that, and he was on his way back. Then he just had like a spell. It was like kind of like a seizure, but it was kind of not like how Minnow had when she had seizures. It was kind of also like choking, but he was, you know, it took a lot of him. He just was not. It took him a while to, you know, like I called the emergency vet, like the on-call vet, to see if I should bring him in. I called to see if there was a taxi availability. She decided since he was not obviously distressed or in pain that it could wait till the next morning, and the price has gone up, which is like, you know, when Minnow had the emergency after hours like fit in, it was $150, and now it's $450. So Dr. Harry thinks it was because she didn't have a vet tech on call. I would have had to call someone in, but I have no idea. I don't like that vet that was on call. There's two vets there I really don't care for. One, just how her with sometimes. Oh, Lydia's with me too. I brought Lydia here, but anyway, I'm not gonna get into it. But I was really happy that I had Dr. Harry because she's the one I dealt with Minnow's palliative care, like her hospice care, and we are usually on the same page with things. Like with Minnow, there was a lot of stuff that other vets probably wouldn't have, you know, continued doing, or like did like an enema and stuff when she got constipated. But it's like because Minnow wanted to keep going. She had quite a pretty much going out of spite, but she was, you know, her quality of life was up until like the last bit wasn't too bad, despite the terminal diagnosis. Her main issue was the brain damage from the high fever. That, you know, my cat was no longer my cat. That was hard. But yeah, so Nick had that, and he just, you know, he got up, he drank, he wouldn't eat, he didn't want treats or anything. Nick not wanting treats. Like, Nick would have tantrums for treats. He would just throw things. I noticed his mouth was like a bit, like his jaw's a bit puffy too. I don't know if he bit something when he had that spell or something, like, or his immune system being down and caused infection. Dr. Harry mentioned that too. We don't know. Didn't really matter by then. Took him. He was quite constipated. But, you know, it was time. Just not himself, not wanting to eat, not good. So I had him euthanized, and it was sad. He went right to sleep. Like, he went to sleep so hard he was drooling when they gave him the first needle. He just went, like, he just went out like a light. And then during the second one, he wanted to hold my hand. That was one of my favorite things. He would do, like, he would take his, like, paw, and if I had, like, my thumb or something, he'd grasp it like a, you know, how a baby does. And, you know, he did that while he passed away. And it was sad. Got back, I had a nap. I got him prepared. I had bought a box to bury him in. I was really annoyed with him because it was supposed to come by August 4th, and it didn't come until the 11th. But I got him sorted. I washed his blanket that night. The night he had the spell, went and washed his favorite blanket that I bought him from Zeller's back when they were closing down. Sherpa fleece one. So I buried him with that. I buried him with a Santa pillow that one of the people I lived with had given. He loved Christmas. Christmas was his favorite thing. A bunch of treats. Minnow I didn't bury with any treats, but I got pictures printed off. I had ordered from Blacks because, again, I didn't have a vehicle, so they were actually good quality pictures. And I got you know, treats, some beans. He loved playing with string beans. And some toys. Cassie's kind of annoyed because I took the one off the door that was his. That was one of his favorite toys, was the, you know, those play and squeak toys that hang over the door. You know, bounce when they're bad and they squeak. She likes it too, but that was one of his favorite things. One of his Go Cats Go Wild Moose chases. Those were his favorite toys. They were like, they're now no longer sold. Our pets bought the company and they stopped selling them. But they're like leopard print mice with little jingly bells in them. He liked the purple ones. So I buried him with that. And Meow Box, when I, at the I had chosen to skip August's Meow Box because my mom having the fall and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do for money right now, because I just took all that she had in the dash, and that was basically what she had to pay for gas money and her post office box, because, you know, we usually do our shopping. Luckily, we did our big shop at the end of the month, and then she gets her pension check from her nurse's pension on the 1st, and that's usually what she uses to pay her bills and stuff. So there was not much there, so I just grabbed the cash. So I had canceled the Meow Box, but then when he got the terminal diagnosis, I re-got it, and it came just the day before. So he wasn't really interested in it, but I felt so grateful to them because they had included this little pouch that said, you know, thinking of you, Nicholas. And it was 3 little toys that normally he would have loved. They were like little tiny ones that he could bat around that had little jingly things. That was his favorite type of toy. Was ones that he could bat around. That was his play style. So yeah, I was really grateful to them, and so I buried him with those. And yeah, and I'm still waiting for the person who's supposed to help me actually bury the box to come, because we had to delay it because we had a sudden, like, massive shower today, earlier in the day, and it was, you know, like flooded. Like, not safe to be along the edge of it, but we've already got the hole dug. But they're supposed to come tonight, and they still haven't yet. So I couldn't stand waiting any longer, like, because that's all I've had to focus on is, like, waiting to get him buried. So I brought Lydia out for a drive because Lydia's upset. They were a bonded pair. Usually, you know, that's like thrown around a lot. He picked her out. Yeah, my mom, that's making it worse because she's just like, she's been making a lot of things about herself when other people have problems. So I don't really want to talk to her. But I thought it was them calling to tell me that the person had finally arrived. So yeah, that's how things are. I feel so bad for him because he was just such a perfect little boy. Just like, he was so sweet and so just a lovely cat that had never had a good, like, he'd always been sickly. He had a shitty upbringing, and people didn't like him. The wrong type of people, I should say, didn't like him because it meant, like, they couldn't bring a dog in the house. And normally, you know, most people, that would be common sense, but no. It was a point of contention with, you know, because he would get so worked up that he couldn't pee. It wasn't a blockage, it was just spasming so bad that he couldn't pee. And he'd been at the vets a few times for it, so it's like like, no more dogs. No dogs in the house. Like, when he'd go to the vets, we put him in the little igloo room, like, usually, to avoid the dogs. They had, like a blocked off, cordoned off area made with, like, those blocks of Lego, that type of thing. And then when his blood pressure was high, like, that was... But it really fucking sucks because his blood pressure, we finally got under control again because we had switched medications, and it took us a while to we had to go back to the old one. Had his teeth sensitivity dealt with, like, he was gaining weight, he was doing really good, lots of activity. I wish I had gotten a video of him because he had started jumping from the table to the footstool, but every time I went to record it, he'd decide not to. But I love my little baby boy, and it's been hard because he was my lap cat. Like, Lydia will get on my lap, but she won't settle down, and he was my go to bed and cuddle cat. Like, Neptune goes to bed with me, but she acts like I'm doing something horrible if I try to cuddle her, and then she leaves. If I pat her too much, she leaves. So I don't know. But yeah, it's been hard. Been about 3 weeks, and it's just been rough. I feel so bad for him because he just was I felt so helpless to do anything for him. And he was just such a nice, wonderful cat. But yeah, that's my video because I didn't want to make another post on it. If you want to check out my Instagram or Facebook, and Mastodon, I did post some more in time things, but yeah, that's just the explanation and what